very stylish girl. How do I look?
My God, man. Do you know what this means? This ghetto's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming.
It's a tough mission, but I think you're ready.
If we're going to save the colonies, we're going to need top Gundam pilots. Transforming Wing Gundam is the most powerful Gundam in the galaxy. But before you can unleash its full potential, you have to transform it from mobile suit mode to bird mode. That's why we need pilots with an ability to take on Gundam mechanics. To beat the best, you have to be the best.
In a world where podcasting is king, you are listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
Come back here! I'm not finished with you! Gundam!
Alright everybody, welcome back to Gundam and MAHQ. This is Neo, and joining me always is the Soul Bro and the Chris. Guys, say hello.
Hello.
Beatings and salad shooters? Okay. Okay. Chris, how goes it?
Oh, you know, just in the middle of some more bannings.
Oh, good. Oh, it's a Thursday, so it must be time for bannings. Oh man.
Look, any day that ends in Y is a time for bannings, especially if you have the wrong opinions that disagree with me. How do you know what the right opinion is? I'll tell you.
Yeah. And if you don't like that, then I'll ban you. And I'll still ban you, even if I tell you, because it's not me. So, but guys, thank you. And joining this episode, because we're going to be talking about the little show called AT6. AT6, yes. And so we got our resident 86 expert on this.
Guru.
It's Guru. Yazi88. I mean, I think Yazi, you've probably been banned a couple times by Chris, right? I mean, I've been banned 14 times, but he just did it because it's his reflex. So, Yazi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. My processor code name is the Punisher.
Oh, what?
Punisher.
Hmm.
Oh,
Punisher. Okay.
Times from Chris.
Okay. Chris, you should just ban him for that.
yeah, because my operator code name is Banhammer.
That's a good one, actually.
We got Fred in the chat saying he cannot hear Soul Bro.
once
Uh,
every 5 episodes.
Did you do it again?
I did it again. Good thing I didn't say much. So there you go. Didn't say shit. But thank you, Fred. Thank you for catching that. I had the safety
what
on.
happens there?
No,
what happens there?
I have in the program that I use to stream, there's a mic for the local mic, right? I mute that so that when the show starts up, they can't hear the background noise. They can't hear me breathing and talking to myself and all that other shit while the show starts up. So I forget sometimes to unmute that mic. They can hear you guys because you're coming through a completely different sound channel. So that's why that happens. It's the last step in my fucking process of like all the things I got to do when I'm starting up the stream, and I didn't do it. So there we go. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate you.
It's a good thing I'm not Bill O'Reilly because I'd yell at you and just say,
indeed.
"We're going live."
Maybe you need a little sticky note on your monitor there.
I do.
Exactly. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie where they had a sticky note? It's like, "Don't touch this," or yeah, maybe that's what you need. Sticky notes are good for that.
I suppose so. Just a big note saying, "Remember to unmute fucking XSplay."
Yeah, exactly.
XSplay. Yeah, just please do. That's what I need to do. But anyway, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Fred, for giving us the quality control there.
Much appreciated.
So yeah, definitely. Well, yes, and welcome, Yazi. Thank you. I think you've been on before, right? When was the last time you were on?
I was on for Mars Daybreak and
yes.
Fuck
yes.
Yeah. So it's been a while. There you go. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll be talking about some 88 here shortly.
86. 86.
Oh, 86.
We don't talk about 88.
Hey man, Area 88.
Don't talk about 88 on this show.
Right there. That's a different shin right there. Not
the whole different shin.
Whole different shin. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Good shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice reference,
86.
Though. Much appreciated.
86. There you go. But guys, anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studios for some Neo's listener submitted news? Anything?
I mean, if anything, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Spit it out. You want to say something?
It's nothing.
What's going on? I know Duke. You want to talk about Duke and Cobra
You can't start it up and then stop.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I put up this stupid post yesterday because it's been it's the 40th anniversary of Transformers. So I've never owned an Optimus Prime and I've never owned a Megatron, save for the figurines of the female versions of them that I have. And then recently I picked up both, and I got their animation modeled versions of the Transformers. They're knockoffs. The Optimus Prime is from Magic Square, and the Megatron is from Infinite Transformation, I believe is the name of the knockoff for that. But they actually transform into the truck and gun, man, and the fusion cannon on Megatron's arm actually has a setting where you can set it to either the Japanese voice actor or Frank Welker, and you can hit the button and it plays auto quotes on there. It's fucking great, dude. I fucking love it.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, but the Megatron transformation is a fucking nightmare. Optimus I got used to, but it's a nightmare. But I put it up because I wanted to remind people.
Well, that keeps in line with the G1 toys.
Yes.
Because Megatron I had Megatron and I had Optimus Prime.
I had Megatron and Optimus.
Man.
Yeah, and Megatron was a motherfucker. And the problem about Megatron too is once you got them together, sometime after a certain point of transforming him, everything would get loose. And once you'd get him transforming the robot, he'd stand for a second and everything.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and boy, did they look nothing like their animation counterparts. That's the thing that gets me the most. But I posted them because I wanted to remind people, if you haven't checked out the Energon universe, please do. The first of the trades just came out for Void Rivals, and the other ones will all be out by June. And I was thinking that if you guys are not feeling it, that's fine. I'll do a special on the show, and I'll get Fred and anybody else who's reading it that I know and has been on the show before to talk about it. But I got to say, it's one of the best things going in comics today. These comics have been selling out like crazy, and I can see why, because the stories are compelling, and the way they've mapped and constructed this universe is fantastic. I know people are burnt out on shared universes and all that shit. I get it, but this is really well done, and they're keeping a concise, tight control on the story, and the characters are very well rendered. So if you guys haven't checked it out, this is actually the reading order of all the issues so far. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet,
Does it
please
have
do.
heart and soul?
Oh, it's got plenty.
Does it have heart and soul?
Yeah, I asked
got
him. I
so
asked him
much.
that before the show started.
It
It's
does.
gotta have heart and soul.
It's far more introspective than I expected it to be, and it's very well done. And even if you have no exposure to any of these characters, you don't have to know anything about Transformers or G.I. Joe to read this. You can start off fresh. And Void Rivals is an original series on its own, and although it ties in, you're basically starting out brand new like everybody else when you start reading it. So that takes place in space, Transformers on Earth, as well as G.I. Joe and Duke, as well. And those are two miniseries that are going to conclude at issue 5, respectively, of each. And I think they're going to form into one book, and they're going to move on to bringing in a new property after that. So it's forever changing. And there's also in May, there is a special issue that has stories from all the books in it called the Energon Universe Special that comes out in early May. So, and they're giving away the first story of that for free for Comic Book Day on May the 4th. So if you haven't checked anything out of it yet, you can check that out when that comes out. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to get people to talk about this because I just think it's one of the coolest things going. And every week, every Wednesday, an issue comes out in this universe that you can read on. And it's my highlight of the week every week, during my work week anyway. Picking up this issue. Duke number 3 just came out and it is fucking great. But anyway, that's enough out of me. Thank you guys for letting me get that off my chest, and back to you, Neo.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with shared universes as long as they're done right, and it sounds like this may be done right. So that's the thing. I'm all good for good stories. It's, so that's always cool to me. So, Chris, got anything MHQ wise? Any banning? Any new bannings while we were talking?
Oh yeah, I banned the entire community while we were talking.
Oh yeah.
All right.
But I got some breaking news live from Fort Lauderdale. Probably not submitted in Neo's news, but it's happening down here. Live from the scene. Fort Lauderdale streets shut down for filming of Bad Boys 4.
Are you serious?
That's right. I heard
That's been in the news down here this week.
Oh my god.
For once, I actually feel like I want to return to Florida just for that. I mean, Bad Boys 4. What is it going to be called? Bad Boys Intensive Care. Bad Boys Hospice. Look,
Bad Boys retirement plan.
Bad Boys pensioners. You know what? It's funny.
No. Bad Boys 401k.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they already burned the title on Bad Boys 3. I'll never forgive them for that. How are you gonna name your third movie Bad Boys for Life? I said, what are you gonna do for Bad Boys 4? Because that's coming out.
Look, it's the same thing as Batman Forever being the third movie. Like,
Yes.
They shot their load too early.
Yes, they did.
I mean, you have those movies that had the word number 2, they're like Cradle to the Grave, that implies there's a Cradle 1 to the grave.
You know it's funny. So you know how like on all the movie channels and stuff they've ran because the writer strike and the actor strike happened. So there's been like this big lull. Like right now, like Showtime is all Paramount Plus. Like it's all like Discovery and stuff like this. I'm like, wait, this is Discovery from like 2 years ago. Like they're acting like this is new. Ooh, Star Trek Discovery. Well, Bad Boys 2 is on there on one of these channels, and I was like, I just started watching. I'm like, you know what? This is still the greatest movie ever made. It is still the greatest action movie ever. It is fun. It's stupid, and it takes a little bit too long. And they had extra budget, and they're like, you know what? We have about $20 million left over. Let's just go blow up Cuba, in our grand finale. So yeah, Bad Boys. Yeah, this has got to be the point. I mean, what happens? Does Marcus or Mike, do they die at the end? Oh my gosh. So we'll have to see. Oh.
You gotta watch and find out.
You're so lucky, Chris. Like, I actually envy you now for living in Florida. It's like, wow, that is like a cool
Don't envy
thing.
me too much.
Yeah, I mean, between the measles and measles outbreak and all
the
other
measles
things.
is happening in the measles outbreak is happening in my county, not too far from where I live. So
there you go. So
don't envy me too much. But you get all those liberal hippie parents in California, so you might not be that much better off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Yeah. So, but yeah. So, if you ever have any news, you can always submit it to the Neo's Listener Submitted News Articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. But before I go to the news, I just want to, this is going to be my opinion piece. It's going to be like what grinds my gears.
Oh.
I'm a little pissed off,
Ooh.
and I just want to say a giant fuck you to the following: Paramount Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and any other streaming option that's out there. How dare you fucking charge me for your bullshit HD and supposed Dolby Atmos sound? I've been getting those notifications lately when I've been going into them, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to like Netflix for an extra $7.50 a month? You'll still get HD and Dolby Atmos." I'm like,
Wait.
I never got that before. So
wait a minute. I thought you used my Paramount Plus. You have a login on mine. You used to use it to watch.
Yeah, and guess what? On your Paramount Plus, half the movies on there now, they're not in HD anymore.
Oh,
especially if they're a Showtime movie. Yeah,
I gotta pay more.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You probably haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, Netflix can suck a dick because they did that the other day.
Yeah, they raised the
Prime
rates
Video
again, man. That
yeah,
sucks.
Prime Video can really eat a dick because they're like, we're just gonna do it in standard definition. I'm like, fuck you. You charge me $100-something a year, and then if I ever want to watch a good movie, I still have to pay like $2.99 for it. It's like, fuck you. So that's my thing. Streaming options, fuck you. And every day when I open up like these, when I open like Variety.com or whatever, and I hear, oh, the streaming features are having all these problems, fuck you. I hope you all die and burn in hell because you suck. The only thing that actually has HD and actual good sound is Apple TV Plus. So good job with them. So fuck everybody else. And
shit.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. I don't know if any of you guys have anything to say there as I go into the first the article here, but they can all eat a dick.
I will add to that. Fuck Amazon Prime for saying, oh, you pay $150 a year, we're gonna give you ads now, and you gotta pay us an extra $3 a month if you don't want ads.
Yeah, what
fuck
the
yourself,
fuck?
Jeff Bezos.
I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go. Thank you for doing that. Prime Video can eat an extra dick because yes, now you're gonna do that shit, and you're gonna want me to watch ads, and then the ads are for fucking Amazon products. They're not even for anything else. Like, I kind of get when I'm watching Hulu because, yeah, I have the cheap Hulu because Hulu really sucks outside of a certain amount of shows. Like, I heard the Shogun show is really cool and the Brawn show is cool. But other than that, fuck it. I'm okay with it. And after a couple weeks of it being on Hulu, the ads get less and less. So it's not a big deal. But Prime, it's like, oh, you have to sit here and watch the 1.5 minutes of fucking ads, and it's all for like Alexa or this and that. It's like, fuck you, Jeff Bezos,
and Max can also eat a bag of dicks because they sent me an email a couple months ago saying, "Oh, we're not going to raise your price, but we're going to cut you down from 3 simultaneous screens to 2, and we're going to take away 4K."
Wow!
If you want those things back, you have to upgrade to a higher tier.
That sucks.
And then you're going, when did I ever have 4K? Because it was
almost inconsistent with their crap.
Because like streaming 4K is like okay,
bullshit.
Something streaming is like, oh yeah, that's 4K. Okay, sure.
I'll add something to
the only one that has anything close to real 4K is fucking Apple TV Plus. That's the only one. And I'm not being a shill because I own Apple products and I own a lot of stock in Apple. They actually do have the only, because it's like a night and day difference when I go to that app and I go to some of the other ones and I'm like, what the fuck? Disney Plus is pretty good too.
I was actually gonna throw in something into the hate pot about
Disney?
that. Yeah, and
Hey,
not only Disney but Hulu. I've had a Hulu account since I think like 2012, right? And Disney Plus since it came out. They're doing the same shit that Netflix is doing, where you're not gonna be able to share it with other people anymore, starting on March the 14th. So if you've been sharing your Hulu or your Disney Plus with anyone come March the 14th, if you're caught doing that with other people, you could end up getting banned off the service. So it might be time to change your password, guys. I got a lot of upset people in my wake. I already let them know. It's like, yo,
I sponged both of those off of general hate.
yeah. So I don't know exactly how it's gonna play out after March 14th, but that's the date. So.
And you know what? And you know what's funny about this is because they never learn.
Nope.
They never understand. It's the same thing when people had rewritable DVDs or rewritable CDs or file sharing or just mixtapes back in the day. They never understand that if you give a little, you'll actually get some of it. Okay, you might be losing the amount of people that are watching.
Oh, yeah.
You may not get the 300 million that are watching, but you might get an additional 100 million that are like, oh, this is a cool service and I'm going to get it, or this is a cool product I'm going to get it. Like they've never learned. They've never fucking learned.
You have to have a product that's better than piracy.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope they all die. And when they sit there and go, oh, we're having all these problems and this and that. Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. All burn in hell. I know there's people that make their living in these industries, and maybe they're innocent. I don't know. But the thing is like the upper management and stuff. What are you doing? Like what are you doing? You're squeezing more.
Yes.
So fuck off.
Yes.
Before we move on, before I need to shit on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Ed for this.
Shit on them. That's a good one too. Fuck them.
This is a news item that might have been submitted in your list. I don't know.
I'm sure
but
it
it's
is.
on ANN. Big news going around. The CEO of Crunchyroll was on the Verge podcast and talked about how they are investigating AI subtitling.
Man, yo, shout out to Ed for also putting that in the chat.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's like, hold up a second. So you're saying that Crunchyroll, which started off as a piracy site, then went legitimate, is going to do this kind of bullshit and inevitably drive people back to piracy.
And I just signed up for them. I just signed up for Crunchyroll. Neo watched 8-6 off of my subscription, and I watched the rest of it because I was watching it in English on Plex, and then after like episode 12, there was no English version, so I went to Crunchyroll to watch the rest, and I had no idea about this translation thing. That's fucked up. That's absolutely fucked up. The subbers is already hard,
dude. Oh, dude, and you're gonna get ramrodded. So here's the thing: they're gonna push for this AI bullshit, and then they're gonna raise the prices even more for some fucking crap. And I'm expecting the thing. You already have the issue when you rent the movies. Sometimes you have to buy the movies. That's the thing. Sometimes I hate with fucking Prime Video. Sometimes I have to buy them. And then eventually I know that I'm not going to own those movies because they're just dicks about it. So I hope they all fucking crash and burn because it's bullshit. Because you're acting like you gave me something. You never gave me HD to fucking begin with. I mean, if you understand how streaming works and how stuff goes through a fucking broadband signal, you know that it's not true HD. I mean, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't have... it doesn't have the frames per second and all that stuff to do it. And then you're gonna, when Netflix told me 750, what? I've been with Netflix forever.
You want to know what the sad thing is about this AI subtitling?
What's that?
What?
Is that there is a contingent of anime fans, and I use fans very hesitantly, who actually welcome this because they're fucking right-wing morons who rant on Twitter endlessly about vocalizers who are ruining their anime and disrespecting Japan and trying to inject their woke politics and sneak them into the translations. And there's been lots of discourse recently because of, you can look up this whole fiasco about Lovely Complex dub, which turned out to all be lies by some disgruntled contract employee. And there's this group of right-wing people who are convinced that like any kind of like LGBTQ reference they see in an anime must be inserted by the translators because Japan doesn't have that kind of stuff. They don't believe in that kind of stuff. And anything that's like, if it's critical of America, oh, that must not be real. No, it's like, you people have no idea how translation works. You have no idea how the business works. You have no idea what the processes are, the safeguards against this kind of stuff, the massive approvals that are required both the American side and the Japanese side. And, these people are just grifters who are foaming at the mouth, raging about a problem that's not even real. And the solution that they are welcoming for that will just destroy translation and make it objectively worse. It's like, I enjoy AI subtitles that take us back to like speed sub era of the early aughts and things like the mass naked child events and that kind of stuff. So enjoy that, because that's what you wished upon us all, because you're so mad at translators who you think are all out to destroy anime.
Wow.
And it's funny too, because all they're going to do, I mean, they're mad at the translators, but they're going to put out their own, put out of work their own right-wing voice actors, because that's always funny to see too.
Oh my god!
Well, there's one certain voice actor that I'm very happy to see out of work.
Yeah,
and that we all are. We all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm eating a sandwich in peace right now.
Sandwiches are safe across the nation.
Why is it that guy killed himself? Yeah.
Oh man, please don't say. Wow.
Let's not cross into that territory.
Let's dial that back.
Damn. All right. Know anything else?
The Hong Kong sub? Does that mean we're going to return to the Hong Kong subtitles from Dragonar?
Hell yeah, man! Come on, man. You wanna watch that old version, that bootleg version of Turn A Gundam, where they called it the white doll with mustache, the white doll with mustache, man. Christ. The classic days when you struggled to understand.
I watched some Double Zeta HK subs that constantly, after the first time, kept repeating the line for many episodes later on. This is an old pre-war map.
Yeah, I actually have that version of those HK subs. I remember exactly what you're talking about. I have that thing of Double Zeta. Oh my god. I think Gundam X had the same. The Gundam X had something weird about it too.
It would fluctuate. Like some episodes were legible and some were not.
They just put letters.
Dude, I still own those DVDs. I still own like the Zeta box set before I got the legit localized box set. I still have my Hong Kong Zeta box set, and man, them subs just get worse with every episode.
And I think there's some episodes of Gundam or Gundam X, after War Gundam X, where they just were like, they didn't even try.
Yeah.
So there'd be like a couple seconds where there's no subtitles. They'd be talking, and you're like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? I don't know.
Sleep at the wheel.
But yes.
So
Fox streaming.
Welcome to return of Asram Zala.
Yes.
Asram.
Asram.
Sorry, I just remember that we got to mention that a long time ago, and I did not believe it until I saw it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be a whole Gundam special if we could just go back to the old HKs, like all the ways that things were just like butchered and just wrongly translated. So, yeah. Anything else? I think we're all unanimous.
Oh yeah.
Fuck streaming. I hope they all fucking die, and don't
buy
cry.
Physical media.
Buy Physical media, please.
Yeah,
I was glad to hear that someone's gonna be doing Disney's Disney's
production
printing for their Blu-rays moving forward. Because
and by the way, people, that Best Buy is not the only place to get physical media. So because I know that whole lamenting thing of like, oh, Best Buy doesn't have physical media anymore. There is other things than Best Buy. So it's. I mean, I don't have a problem with Best Buy, but whatever. So there you go. But all right, gonna go through some quick news here. So I'm just gonna get you some fast things going here. First one here comes from Rodimus76. Oh, this is actually kind of good with what Solbro was talking about with those comic books. Oh, looks like Transformers producer Lorenzo de Bonaventura.
Oof.
Is that he must be like 90 years old because that guy's been around forever.
Oh
yeah.
Man. I believe.
Guess what he's promising.
Oh,
guess what he is promising. He is promising a G.I. Joe crossover is coming soon. Yeah.
That was obvious.
Yeah. After the end of the fifth one, I actually wrote on. Sorry, not the fifth one, but Rise of the Beast. I actually wrote on.
Rise of the Beast.
I wrote on Twitter. It's like before they put pen to paper, they need to consult with like people who actually love this shit before they actually move forward with this crossover. Whether it be Kirkman and the gang working on Intron Universe or anybody else who's done a crossover before, they don't need to do.
Why are you still on Twitter?
Well, I know, right? I shouldn't be.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You either need somebody that loves it, which is okay, or you need somebody that's not even like remotely understands it and just like learned it the day before. Mm-hmm. So it all depends. Like I get what you're saying, and I always feel that that's like the thing that fans go to is like we need somebody that understands it and all that. But I always go back to like one of the greatest movies ever, Wrath of Khan. I mean, you read about that director; he didn't know fucking jack shit about Star Trek.
No, he did not.
So it depends. I think. In the end, you just need somebody that understands how to tell a story. Yeah. Like I think that
because the contrast to that is Nemesis was directed also by a director who knew nothing about Star Trek, and in that case, it was not a good thing.
You also get a situation like Tony Gilroy on Andor. He's not a Star Wars fan, admittedly, and yet that show is fucking incredible. So yeah, it doesn't take a fan to do it, but it takes someone who can craft story well, and that's. You're right. That's exactly what you want. You want someone who can forge a story.
I just want a good story on stuff. Yeah. That's all. I'm simple at this point. I just want a good story. I've seen so much bullshit that it's like I just need a good story. I need a good, solid beginning, middle, and end. Mm-hmm. And length of the series or the movie doesn't mean that necessarily it's good. Just because it's 4 hours doesn't mean it's good. I mean, or just because it's an hour and a half, it might, it's amazing. So there you go. But all right, next one here comes from MCT Dread. Man, it looks like just that Gundam Seed Freedom just keeps rocking. Ooh. #1 in the third weekend. It's the thing that just Chris hates to hear. Gundam, the movie that he never thought would happen, is making money and making his life miserable. Chris, how do you feel about that as I go to the next?
Hateful.
Full
of hate.
There you go. The self-fulfilled prophecy.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Go Gundam Seed Freedom. Go Kiriyamato. Go.
Yeah, you say that until we have to watch it.
Go ass Ram. Go ass Ram.
Go ass Ram. Go ass Ram. Go.
Pagali will be crying.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I might be too.
I'm gonna be like, I can't wait for that review. I'll be like, you know how long it took me? This was only a 2-hour movie, and it took me fucking 4 days to watch because I stopped it. I was like, I'd watch 5 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And stop it. So, yeah. No, I know. I'm just delaying the inevitable. So, but next one here comes from MCT Dread, and this comes from IGN.com, and I would like to see this. It looks like old Samuel L. Jackson. We know him. He wants his own Disney Plus show starring Mace Windu.
Oof.
But we need it where we can have it where Samuel L. Jackson is just playing the character with Mace Windu. Like, I want a rated R version where he's just like, motherfucker, you gonna come step to me? I'm a Jedi, motherfucker.
Only if Quentin Tarantino writes the motherfucker, then I want this.
Exactly.
It might as well be like Jules Winifred, Jedi. That's what I want. I want.
I just want something like, I'm tired of these motherfucking droids in my motherfucking republic.
Yes.
Exactly.
Please.
Yes, he deserved to die. The Republic is safer for it.
Yes, Dooku deserved to die, and everything's better for it.
It's just a spoof of a Samuel L. Jackson movie every week, but in a Mace Windu skin. That's it.
Well, or you get the one where it's like Yoda's like, me think that the Sith is Palpatine. It is, and he'd be like, motherfucker, are you kidding me?
Yes. Speak English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Basic motherfucker. Do you speak it? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, Walker mother, I am not.
Yes. It's just him and Yoda fucking going through the galaxy, man. I need this. I as long as it's like that. If it's like fucking Secret Invasion, throw that shit right in the garbage.
Exactly.
Please. Woo! No, sir.
Alexa, ask Samuel L. Jackson about the weather.
Oh, no.
The Samuel Jackson skill is no longer available.
Oh, damn it. No longer available.
That was a time-limited, time-limited thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos, you asshole.
Fucking sad.
Yeah.
It's profound sadness.
I hate Jeff Bezos and his ugly girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
Who's a jock sniffer. And if you want to know what a jock sniffer is, watch The Last Dance.
All right.
Soul Bro knows what I'm talking about.
I definitely have. I definitely
jock sniffer.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, Rodimus 76 comes back. It looks like Full Metal Panic. I think we ever did Full Metal Panic, did we?
Not yet, no, but I would love to.
We've never done it, right?
No, we've never done it. I would love to.
So the Full Metal Panic family light novel is now out in Japan. So cool.
Yo, family
cool stuff.
I guess that's a new spinoff. Right. Man, nice.
All right, I'm gonna hit this, and I know we need to go into our topic, but it does. Rodimus 76 posted this up, and I know this has been a thing that people have been going crazy, and he just talked about the first trailer for Marvel Animation's X-Men 97 has been posted. So, any of you guys saw that? Yeah, I mean, I know we're disappointed.
That's a supreme nerf. I'm not gonna front, but it is what it is. I'm still watch. But
oh, you're in that camp? Are you serious?
Hey, man. Hey. It's. Oh, I knew they would. I knew.
Some people probably had childhood awakenings on this show.
Yes, I would say I was a grown ass man when that show was on. Like, yo, damn. But I mean, that's how they were drawing them in the 90s in the comics anyway. But I knew that was going to happen. I knew that the glory days of that type of visuals was done. So drink in what you got. But I just hope that you know what? I'm glad the voice actress is coming back. She was just recently at MegaCon.
So
I love her.
Here's
to death.
the thing. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing: if it's a good story, are you gonna still give it a step down? Like, if it's the most amazing story ever, but the fact that she doesn't have a J-Lo ass with giant boobs is,
it is what it is. The most of the cast came back. I'm down for that. I'm really excited to see this. What kills me is the dialogue about how woke X-Men is. It's like, motherfucker, were you there? Did you watch the same show I did? I mean, this is the same argument with Star Trek, right? It's like, it's always been progressive. It's always been in favor of downtrodden people, minorities of some way, shape, or form. And it was the civil rights movement in the 60s, moving throughout the 70s and 80s. It eventually encompassed LGBTQ and all that stuff. And people want to act like this is new shit. And it's like, wow, I don't know what to do with y'all. I really don't.
Okay, but forget even all that for a minute. Mm-hmm. They're mad at a shapeshifter who can literally change their body to be whatever they want.
Right.
Is non-binary. Like, to me, it wouldn't. It would make no sense at all. If a shapeshifter character was not binary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That to me is the weird thing. So it's like you picked the wrong hill to die on, buddy,
Exactly.
for various reasons.
Foolishness. Fucking foolishness.
Yeah.
What that is.
It is pretty silly. Yeah.
And you know, these people, like, they just demonstrate comments like these of, oh, they made it woke, and you know, all this. It's like these people literally just have not consumed at all the media that they claim to defend, or they did and just missed the point so badly that they might as well have just not watched it at all.
They're oblivious to nuance.
They missed the whole last point.
Or here's another thing: you just go to YouTube and you see all the various interviews of Stan Lee talking about the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
exactly.
You could just do that, you know, from the source material. I mean, it's always been that way, and I mean, it's. I'm looking forward to see the show. I mean, I'm hoping it's. I just hope the stories are good. That's all I really care about. I mean, and Morph was always. I mean, he only lasted a couple episodes in the original show, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
literally the first episode. He got murked.
He got murked, and then he got brought back towards the end.
He came back,
yeah,
because he was just there for like the, you know, just for
shock
the
value of we killed someone.
The stakes,
Yeah.
So, but
He back all messed out.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
The main thing I want out of it gives more footage to use for Juggernaut, bitch. So for future videos, for spoof videos.
Yes, sir.
So.
Can't wait. My Way Entertainment, guys.
One thing I look forward to.
My Way Entertainment. We're gonna be in a whole new world of I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I'm ready.
Yeah. So, next one here comes from MCT Dread. It looks like Gundam Breaker 4.
Oh yes.
Was announced for the Switch, the PS5, the PS4, and the PC. So. Yazi, Sobro, I'm sure you guys will have something to say about that. I don't know if Chris does, but
I mean, I'm hoping it's better than New Gundam Breaker. I do have it pre-ordered for the PS5. I'm optimistic that it's going to be good.
Yeah, Yazi, I think you guys were talking about it on social media about that this is the old team that worked on the good games for Gundam Breaker come back to work on this. Is that right?
About that, I thought it was the original team, but this team, there was a subcontractor to work, 2 different subcontractors worked on games and a New Gundam Breaker. This team worked on New Gundam Breaker, but they still worked on the first 3 games. But it looks like it's in better hands than the last game, which ain't saying much. But there will be like a test demo coming out of Japan, and hopefully a playable demo to more confidence to this game compared to New Gundam Breaker, which just came out with a very, very little publicity. So they're actually going in more full force for this game, especially having a dub of all things for a Gundam game.
And a physical release, which we have not had in the West for a Gundam game since the disaster of Gundam Versus.
Yes, indeed. I will say this though, Namco Bandai is
Bando Namco.
I know, I do it all the time. It makes me mad. They're starting to roll out games with crossplay. And rollback netcode. So I'm hoping that both of those will find its way to this game because I'm getting it on PC. I don't have a PS5, and I don't want to really pay for PlayStation Online anymore. So I'm really hoping that crossplay will be in this game, especially in the PC version playing with people on PlayStation. So we'll find out if that's the case. No words on that yet. They haven't confirmed anything. It's still early days, but I really hope that happens. And I look forward to playing this because I love Gundam Breaker. Gundam Breaker 2 and 3 were the shit. I love those 2 games, and I would love to sink my teeth into another Gundam Breaker down the road. So this one looks as good as any, and I certainly hope it's everything I'm hoping that it is. I hope they bring back some old maps for that game too, because 2 had some of the best maps. Period. But yeah, awesome. That's all I got.
I'm only gonna play with Desert and nothing else. Just Desert. That's all I need.
Yo, Ed writes Bando Namco, subsidiary of Funimation, and.
All right, Funimation.
Yes. Yeah, it's the offshore subsidiary in Macau.
Yes.
The
bootleg version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Forget
CEO of Funimation, Dr. Phil.
They're the ones doing the HKAI subtitles.
Forget Bendy. It's all about Bando Namkai now.
Bando Namkai. There you go.
It's a new age. Oh God.
Next one here comes from Rodimus76, and he's got a great article here. I saw this before. Big ups to Linda Hamilton for saying, the Terminator franchise needs to end. Her quote, "It's been done to death."
Word?
I agree with that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
nice.
I guess it can survive in comic books or fighting Predator or whatever the fuck it does, but I don't think we need any more. It's just what was the last good movie? T2?
Look, I will
The
defend
Christian Bale movie was
Dark
halfway
Fate.
decent.
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate was good. That is the legit real Terminator 3 that we will always should have gotten. I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
No, you're right on that.
That was a good movie, and it deserved
That
to
was
be
a good
successful.
movie. Yeah.
I just think people hit their limit by the time that rolled out.
A very long time.
Oh, what was that, Yazzie? Go ahead.
Is one of the few good movies that David Goyer has done in a very long time.
I forgot he had stuff to do with that David Goyer. Oh my God, man. Yeah, that's my response. But
he worked on Dark Fate, so I gotta give him the very little credit he deserves for somehow.
And you know what? You gave him his flowers. That's maybe for the first time.
So, next one here comes from MCT Dread, and this goes back to my fuck off streaming services.
Oh yes.
It looks like Crunchyroll is offering to compensate Funimation and Funimation digital copy owners with appropriate value. So I haven't gone into the I haven't gone into the article, but I'm sure appropriate value means like there's no way that you're going to be able to use this money anywhere else, and you're just going to have a set limit of things. It's kind of like the Ticketmaster class action lawsuit settlement that I got years ago, where it was like, hey, Ticketmaster is shitty and they got sued and you won in the class action lawsuit. You get a free ticket to any part in the stadium, and it was like the worst shows ever. It's like I don't want some of these things.
You want front row seats for Nickelback? Come on in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like,
get your photograph ready.
Exactly. It's like I don't want this. So I don't know.
Items are worth as much as Confederate dollars.
Pretty much. Well, actually, I think they're probably worth more because they actually weren't just as bad as Crunchyroll was. It just wasn't an evil separatist movement to ensure the slavery of others because they were of a different ethnicity. So but. Next one here comes from MCT Dread. The Gundam F90 manga ends on March 26th. So I know all you guys are watching. Been reading that. I have, not really, but so. And then MCT Dread comes back with what Chris had said earlier. Bad Boys 4 is going to blast into theaters.
Yes.
Earlier than expected. Yeah, it doesn't say that they're filming right now, but it says it's earlier than expected. So
we got to continue.
I can't
the tradition. Wait. We got to continue the tradition. Special episode, Bad Boys 4 review. We got to do it.
Of course. I mean,
man, I'm ready.
How does the franchise end? I mean, who ends up? Who ride together? We die together. I mean, come on. What's so?
We're gonna team up with the Fast Furious crew.
Oh, yeah, you joke about that, but I bet something like that might happen eventually.
Actually, you know what? That's not a bad thing. If you could do the crossover correctly, I think it would actually help both franchises.
Probably would.
I mean, I hate to say this. I mean, I'm not a movie guy. Maybe I need to be, but it's like if you could have somebody who could write it correctly, that could work. Mike Lowry and Marcus with Dominic Toretto and the gang. I mean,
Lee Pants.
Yeah.
Look, all you need is family.
Well,
all you need is family, and you just take it 1/4 mile at a time. That's all you need.
Yazzie, you mean Force Ghost Joey Pants?
Oh yeah.
You forgot,
he's
man.
dead.
Yeah, he got murked in the last one.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, that
he's done. Spoiler alert.
We were crestfallen during the review when we talked about that. It was like, yo, man, they killed him off, man. They killed off the chief, man.
They'll do time travel. They'll bring him back.
Maybe they will.
Kill off the cat.
Hell yeah, Doc Brown will show up.
So they'll do what they did in Fast and the Furious. The Jason Statham, his brother. Well, it was a different actor, but like you know what I mean. It was like so stupid. Oh my god!
If Han could come back, so can the Chief.
Well, always remember, there's that sliding scale that Tokyo Drift just keeps further and further out in the future. Even though those cars were from like the mid '90s, for some reason, I mean, it's like a comic book in the end.
Yeah,
so
it very much is.
But
time is a flat racetrack.
Hey, once again, if it's written correctly, I think it could work. I mean, who would do this? You think Martin Scorsese would do this? The Fast and the Furious and Bad Boys crossover? I mean,
it might be his magnum opus.
Clearly, you need.
It's not MCU.
Nolan.
Yo, Nolan, yes.
Yeah, you need Christopher Nolan.
He needs a challenge.
Are you serious?
He needs a fucking challenge.
He needs a challenge. All right. Take two things that don't make any sense and put them together and make sense out of this.
There you go. It'll make more sense than Tenet.
Yeah,
still making Tenet jokes like it's 2020.
I know, right?
Oh my god!
We blow the dust off these.
That killed old boy's career, though. That killed Denzel's son's career. I think.
Oh man!
I haven't seen him in shit since.
Yeah, he's been in some things. He's just been in smaller
was in
capacity.
the movie about the Robo Kid.
Yeah, he was in the Creator. Just came out not long ago. It didn't do well, but it looks cool. I'll check it out sometime.
Is he waiting for Ballers too? The Ballers reboot on HBO.
I forgot he's in that shit. Oh no! Oh man! Oh, too wild.
I just can't wait till they just do the movie of Nepo babies. Nepo babies.
There's a lot of them.
Him, the Ice Cube's kid, Dakota Jackson,
and get Dakota Johnson on the line because she won't be doing it anymore.
Ooh.
Madam Web.
Oh man, the best thing about Madam Web was the fucking press tour she went on. That shit was great. She could give less than the fuck. This is like, yo, you know what, Dakota? That's what's up. Fucking just tell them what you're feeling, man. You know that, and shout out to Rebecca Ferguson, who, from the Mission Impossible movies and many other films. She called out. Well, she didn't call out someone, but she talked about an asshole on the set of a movie that she worked on, right? And she said that this person was like terrorizing everybody. They were number one on the call sheet, and they were saying that nobody on this movie was like a good actor or whatnot, and they were just terrorizing everybody. And she had a breakdown, but then the very next day she got on set and said, look, I don't even want to look at you right now. I want you off my set for my scenes. And then the director told her, it's like, well, he's number one on the call sheet. They kind of have to stick around. So she told that motherfucker, it's like, I don't want to see your face. I'd rather work against a tennis ball than you. If I have to be in a scene with you, turn the fuck around. And she fucking set that guy straight. And now the internet is trying to crack the code on who she's talking about.
Who do you think it was?
Oh man, it's not The Rock. It's not
saying theories that it's Hugh Grant or Michael Fassbender.
Some people think it's Meryl Streep. So I don't know, because she worked with her in Mamma Mia.
I think she said it was a man.
It was a man, yeah. That's what the illusion I got as well, and I believe you're right. But yeah, it could be one of those cats. It's not The Rock. The Rock said he'd love to know who it is so he could set them straight. So it's like, oh, because they worked together on Hercules years ago. So yeah, it's certain people. Some people think it might be Jake Gyllenhaal, but I don't know if that's true or not. I've never heard like too many bad things about Jake.
Is he really a dick? I mean, I don't
really think so. I really don't hear that rumblings
about that guy is a dick.
And it's not Tom Cruise. It's not Tom Cruise. So yeah, I would have figured it was Tom Cruise initially.
It's probably a nepo baby.
Yeah, the last time Tom Cruise wilded out, I agreed with him, and that was that COVID shit on the set. It's like, yeah, Tom, you fucking set those motherfuckers straight. Please do. But
it's probably one of these nepo babies that are like, oh, you know, I broke into this on my merit. It's like, no, you didn't.
Whoever that actor is, they better not let it be found out who it is, because the fucking internet is ready to go at him. The meme is from Dune. From Dune, it's like the Rebecca Ferguson army stepping up to go after who was harassing her on set, and they show that clip from Dune where Paul Atreides is on that cliff and he holds the sword up, and like all the people on the ground, all the Fremen, hold their swords up too. And speaking of which, that comes out soon, man. That I maybe in the future we'll talk about both Dune movies on the show. I know that's not Neo's slice of pie, but hopefully he'll like Dune too.
What are you talking about? I like the first movie. What the fuck are you talking about?
We talked about it. I thought you said you didn't dig it all that much. Oh, okay. Well, shit. All right.
No, I'm cool with the Chalamet, man.
Okay,
cool with Chalamet. I mean,
and my man Austin Butler, man.
No, the only problem with it is it felt incomplete. You're like, wait, there's gonna be more, right? Like, it's like, oh fuck, and then you're like, there's a writer strike, an actor strike, and fucking COVID, and you're like, so
oops.
It probably makes more sense if you just watch them in succession now, but and last few articles here, so we can get to 86.
Yes, indeed.
If people, you get to see Mark Hamill's Joker and Kevin Conroy's Batman reunite one last time in Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. Rodimus 76 put this on there. So this is, I think, what I saw, because I saw this stuff going on the internet, I think this is like Kevin Conroy's last work, right? Before he passed.
Probably his last animated work, because I think Kill the Suicide Squad, I think that was one of his last voice roles.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. So, and then last one here is from Rodimus 76 for all our UK and Ireland listeners. It's coming. Gundam Seed Freedom is coming to the theater this March. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I wish they would say that to America so I could go see it. Not really, but.
Freedom.
I'm sure Fathom is gonna probably give us a weekend with this. But
I'm actually pretty sure where I live it'll show up somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It always does. But so that's it. That's the news. If you ever have any news, always go to the Neo's Listeners News articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And now we're going to go into our first and only topic of the night, talking about the anime series 86. Chris, you want to give us a quick summary so we can go into our thoughts, highlights, and lowlights of this show?
Sure. So it's an adaptation of a light novel series, which is also available in English from Yen Press. So the story is set in a vaguely European setting where you have these two countries that have been at war for almost a decade. One side is the Republic of San Magnolia, and the other is the Empire of Jihad. And San Magnolia, their boast is that, like the enemy, that they use drone tanks to fight their war. So none of their soldiers ever are casualties of this war, and everything's just fine. Well, that's not actually true. Reality is that have the predominant ethnic group in San Magnolia, which is white people with silver hair, and you have a repressed ethnic minority, which is literally anybody else who has a different hair color. And they are all gathered up into the 86th district of San Magnolia. They've had all of their civil rights stripped away, and they're called 86ers, and they are forced to fight the automated tanks of the Empire's Legion. And their lives are completely disposable, and they have handlers who are in the capital, who are not on the battlefield, who give them orders, and then as soon as they die, they just get replaced by somebody else. And the story is about a new handler named Vladilena Malaise, who does not view the 86ers as sort of the subhuman pigs that they have been characterized to be by the dominant side of society. And she actually cares about her people, including this spearhead squad that's led by a squad leader with the nickname Undertaker, because he has this reputation, and he makes connections with them. They kind of each overcome the prejudices that they have on both their sides, and the team goes on some deadly missions, and then they go on a final mission that takes them beyond the borders of their territory into Jihad territory, and they discover that the kingdom fell long ago and was overthrown, and there's now a democratic government, and this government takes them in, and they choose to become soldiers to fight for the Jihad Federacy, and they are tasked with this crazy mission of taking down this new giant automated Legion Metal Gear. Tank called the Morpho, and they take down the Metal Gear. Morpho. And that's the end of the first season, which is not the entirety of the novels, because I understand there's a lot more material that has yet to be animated, and I'm sure we'll get into some more specifics, but I will turn it back to you, Neo.
All right. So, Yazi, you're our guest. Why don't you give us some of your highlights and some of the things that really stand out to you about this adaptation of 86 in the animated form?
Yeah, it's a very greasy. So I guess there's those people out there want to greedy old people. Or you're not gonna get the old people. You're still gonna get extremely greedy settings here. But there's a lot of gruesome stuff in the show. There's a lot of lots of kids being sent out to war, internment camps. There's fighting going on between the internment camps, and the fact is that when you find out what the Legion are, pretty much, the Legion are armored killers, but they take the dead soldiers and everything into and use them as for their computers, pretty much for their processors. And branding Killfest, kind of like you're fighting against the beta from Muv-Luv. There's an endless wave of killers, except that if you're captured by the Legion, you're better off dying than have to take you prisoner or being killed by the Legion. So it's very gruesome. And then also the weapons they use here, they're called, the Feldress. They're pretty much like walking tanks, with turrets on it. Sag Magnolia, the one that the Spearhead uses, their units are called Juggernaut, which are really crappy. If you just take up the ball from what was the gun, you just give it legs. That's what those are.
Oh yeah, man.
Blink it hard enough.
They kind of move around. The way they move around reminds me of Tachikomas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna also add.
Yeah.
They also kind of remind me of
and they're built by the
Alexanders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of also remind me of the Alexanders from Code Geass, Akito the Exiled, when they're running around in that creepy crawling form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And also the similar thing of people who are disfavored upon fighting on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big, mostly lose situation because you see these 86, they're literally treated like cannon fodder. And one of the interesting things in here is that there are supernatural elements in there, which kind of seem out of place here, but they kind of go into that early on because the thing with Shin, the main character, he's kind of like, what's the best way to describe it? He's kind of like the Frost Brothers, how they have the ability to talk to each other.
Yeah.
With his family. Yeah, but it's the thing is, some of these psychic abilities, they come from families, certain families or ethnic groups, sea pigs, to make these things called the para-raids, which is wireless communicators that can, go across the battlefield because using, what they call it, use brainwaves, I guess, to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines, but
telepathy, most
torture. Telepathy, something like that. They mostly use it just for verbal communication, but they can use it go further, do visual communication, but not overload your brain and stuff. But these things are grafted into their skin, pretty much. They are what's it called? They're pretty much treated like livestock, and these permanently put on the ears. And they have a little crystal to put in them too. But and you find out the background of that. All these kids were experimented onto. A lot of them were killed just to be as guinea pigs for this. So
yeah.
And what's to say about Shin? He's a poster child of PTSD in 2 different ways. Like the thing how he's called the Reaper because he's an ace on the battlefield, but if any of your comrades get critically injured, he gives them a final send-off so that they don't get taken by the Legion and uses brain food for them. So,
okay.
And he literally has a whole bucket full of names to carry with him, better or worse. And there's also the show the first half of the show it kind of goes back and forth between Shin's point of view and Vlad Lena, or I guess Lena, shows each of their perspective sides before the second half when the Confederacy goes mostly from Shin's point of view. It's a different change of dynamics, but it works out pretty well. Some interesting technology parts in it, like the whole Legion. They're like relentless. All they care about is killing people because the Empire, when they created them, they used it to wage war all across the surrounding areas. The Empire Civil War, all the Imperials in charge, they were killed, so there's no one left to command these Legion.
Yeah.
So these Legion are going out wiping out everyone.
It's the worst.
And Magnolia, they're probably up there with the most incompetent military forces I've seen in the mecha anime. These guys are complete buffoons that have no idea what's going on. They just throw people on the slaughter and can't do anything right. They usually see the bum soldiers that are left over because there's a brief little snippet that in the beginning of the war, all Magnolia's military, they wiped out in 2 months.
Yeah.
Because they had that little military power, all their best soldiers and everything, front lines, and you got the most incompetent people left in charge. So and Vlad Lena, she's like the only one of the few competent people on the Magnolia side. So I guess I'll throw it to any of you, or I can answer any questions you guys have too. So
okay, so bro, some of your highlights of the show.
Well, first I'm gonna kick off with giving Yazi a round of applause because Yazi's been telling me about this show for like maybe the last 2-3 years, and he's been championing this show. He's been reading the books. He's probably the most knowledgeable out of all of us about the world that 86 is comprised of. And I always put it on the back burner because I knew we were going to talk about it on the podcast, and I wasn't sure how long the show was going to run at the time that it was on. So it's like, oh, let me hold off on that. But we finally got to it in the year of our Lord 2024, and I'm so glad we watched it, man. I got vibes watching this of as Neo mentioned earlier, Area 88 or 88, with the main character named Shin, who's pretty much forced to work for this nation that has no love or respect for him at all, and has to basically survive this war until the clock winds down, but we all find out that's a facade later on. Also, I got shades of Flag, especially with the little vignettes that would be shown by Fido, the robot dog in quotation marks supply carrier robot that would take stuff, and it would be a montage of footage he would record and some other footage that would be sneaked in from like previous time periods. Because and Yazi, you might be able to answer this, but at the end of the show, there's a sequence with a video sequence where they have a bunch of clips of whatnot, and there's even one particular scene where they show Shin as a baby walking towards his parents and his brother, and I was wondering, where did they get that footage, or is this just random stuff they just threw in for character dimension and flavor, or are they implying that maybe in some way, shape, or form Fido was in Shin's life as early as him being a kid? I honestly don't know. I found that interesting when they showed that. Do you have any insight on that at all?
Yes, they actually confirmed that. They actually showed that a little bit the first season when they were doing the Fido flashback.
Yeah,
they showed a really young Shin playing with him.
Oh,
okay. So you know how Shin is the only that can understand everything Fido's saying.
Yeah,
but he doesn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of heavily hinted in the anime. So Fido is a AI, like a helper AI that was created from his parents. His dad. But when the war happened, they were dragged away. Fido, who his body was moved around. So he was transferred around to different bodies, trying to look for his family that left, and he pretty much found, and he transferred to a little helper bot. So because they're saying, why does this helper bot different having AI compared to the other ones? Because it's a prototype helper one that his parents made before the war break out, and that's the reason he's going after Shin, because when Shin's family, they have to really talk to each other. Fido was used as sort of like as feedback for Shin's abilities as a kid for status testing. So
wow,
Shin doesn't know anything about Fido. All you know, he's like he's named Fido because all Shin's trauma and everything pretty much made him forget most of his past.
That's crazy. He did mention he didn't remember his parents. He remembers his brother because they lived together the longest, but he did not remember his parents at all. He said that somewhere in the series, Shin did. Mm-hmm. So, wow, that's super fascinating. Because there's things that the show doesn't really convey that are in the books, and Yazi was telling me some of this behind the scenes, such as at the midway point when we go from the A story to the B story, the second half of the show, where the characters work for the the nation of let's see here, not
the Federacy.
The Federacy.
Yeah,
you got it.
Federation. Yeah.
Yeah, when it worked for them, and when they survived the battle that closes out the first half of the show, it's implied that the AI that was attacking them was still in somewhat control of Shin's brother, who was able to escort the unconscious squad to the Federacy, where that machine was destroyed, but they managed to arrive safe. And that's what that whole metaphysical display of Shin's brother carrying Shin enough up to a certain point, and said he had to go. He was dressed as the Skull Knight from the storybook that he used to read. That made sense after Yazi was telling me that was basically what happened in the books. So yeah, there's certain things that are in the books that didn't make it in the series, at least not in a direct way, but I'm glad to know, and thank you for answering that question, man. I appreciate that.
Okay. It's a very confusing out of context. So actually, that's why I was actually, so why they went for that visual sequence, but I guess it worked given all the trippy scenes Shin goes through with his mind, and especially his family. So, which
is one of the coolest things about the show. I love the sometimes the horror vision of imagery that they show, like the soldiers standing there with their heads off, begging Shin to still free them, which is a disturbing sight. One of the best scenes in the show is when Lena refuses to separate the line, and this is earlier in the series, when Shin warns her that you're not going to like what happens next if you don't sever the line, and then all that cacophony of sound hits her, and then she has like these demonic visions. Whole room turns upside down, turns red, and then the last girl who had died in the group, she sees her ghost telling her, "I don't want to die," and it's like, yo, what is this shit? What is this? And then of course you find out that's like psychic feedback that she's getting from that, and that's when the big reveal is that you find out that the Legion is taking human brains and then repurposing them to pilot robots, and that's just one of the scariest things. The thing about these shows that have to deal with insane hordes that are just out of control, that want to wipe out mankind, such as what was the Chris? You had mentioned one of those shows at the very beginning. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Muv-Luv?
Yeah, Muv-Luv, thank you. Shows like that, or Blue Gender, another one like that. That's one of the more disturbing things about this show, with that horror aspect, but they implement it well. I didn't mind the supernatural stuff because the setting in the show reminds me so much of Code Geass, and that show had a ton of supernatural shit. So, and not so much the structure of the episodes. I will commend this show heavily, at least the first half of the show, where the structure of the show was so interesting, where you would be 2/3 through the show, and then the credits would start rolling. Yeah. And then you would go into this epilogue for this episode that could be like 10 minutes. And it's like, yo, what is this? I hope people don't skip this when they're watching. But
I actually did accidentally. Like,
oh
the
my
first time it really happened,
I
did it accidentally because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna skip the credits.
Yeah.
And then not realize, and then I'm like, wait, did it just like go like 6 minutes forward?
Exactly.
Like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, that was definitely something you had to be mindful of.
It doesn't happen as much in the second half of the show, but I love that about the first half. I thought that was such a cool structure, and I wish
Last
they
episode
continued.
it does.
Yeah,
last episode of.
I think they do it 3 times. No, they do it twice, and then
multiple times.
yeah, and then you have the vignette at the end. They do a lot of stuff like playing with the dimensions of the screen. Like the show goes full letterbox in the episode, the second to last episode with Shin, but also with the vignettes, it's in 4:3. So I would just say that the direction in this show is excellent. When it comes down to the way the scenes are depicted, the storyboarding is phenomenal. When you watch the show, there's a visual language to it, where you get to see a lot of the cinematography in the show. Is reflective. Sometimes they tell part of the story. When you're dealing with a dichotomy between Shin and Lena, and how their lives are somewhat different but also the same, and how they encounter the same things, especially in the last episode where they kind of actually display certain scenes in the same camera angles and in the same positions, especially at the very end when they both go to the memorial and pay their respects, and then they leave and they shoot it the same exact way. And I say shoot liberally, of course it's animated, but I love that kind of stuff when you watch animation, and props to the people who laid out the sequences of scenes and displayed it, and the visual style of the show is absolutely excellent. Overall, as I mentioned, the first half of the show I think was better and more intense. There were aspects of the second half that had me scratching my head, like the tone was a little bit lighter, which is, I guess, a relief at that point, because you honestly believe these kids are not going to survive their run, and then they get a second chance by becoming part of the Federacy. But the reveal of the last adversary, the guy who used to be the knight for Frederica, it was a coincidence that he was related to Shin, and it was just certain aspects to it that didn't flow to me as well as I thought it would be. I liked that his brother was a kind of a more compelling villain, and they built it out a bit better than they built to this guy who just constantly screams, "I'll kill you," Korosu and all that shit. But it was I still didn't mind it as much, especially the final confrontation. I thought was very well depicted, and I loved how Frederica and Shin worked together to take him down. Outside of that, the music was great. Animation was top notch. A1 Pictures did a fantastic job. I was relieved that the main five still survived the show, but how far the books have gone, I don't know who's still alive and who's gone at this point, and or if we're going to ever see another piece of the show ever animated. Damn, there was something else I wanted to say. I should have written it down. But other than that, I don't think I've seen a character in anime with as hard a case of survivor's guilt as Shin. When it comes down to it, maybe my man Metal Link from Armor Hunter Metal Link, but he kind of focused up and did his job. But yeah, and Dollar writes in the chat, never this show will never get more. Well, Dollar, thanks for having a positive outlook. I'm fucking with you, but yeah, man, it was a good series, and it makes me intrigued to read the books and the manga as well. But I'll go ahead and pass it back to you guys, and I'll contribute if I think of anything else.
Chris, what are your thoughts?
First, I'll say it's visually beautiful show, and I think it's one of the most visually impressive anime TV series of this entire century so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just very expertly crafted in terms of the visuals, the camera angles, the trippy imagery. It's just very, very well made. The first half is definitely quite brutal, and the exploration of the way that the minority has been systematically dehumanized and stripped of their rights. Obviously we have plenty of real world comparisons to that, but it gave me reminders more recently of the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar who have been stripped of their civil rights and genocided and all of that. Or the Uyghur Muslims in China who have been stripped of their rights and put in concentration camps for brainwashing and used as slave labor, and all this kind of stuff. And just the way that a society can so thoroughly propagandize its population and preying upon their well, not preying, but like taking advantage of their racist beliefs. And the way these people in Magnolia just so casually talk about, these people, like, they're just kind of like pigs that failed to evolve, right? That's what
Oof.
It's like you just take that at face value. Like, you don't interrogate that these people used to be your neighbors and your coworkers and your friends, and then they all just got disappeared, and that didn't bother you at all. It's like, well, we know that plenty of Germans weren't bothered when their Jewish neighbors were all carted away. So it's completely realistic.
The mechanic, his story was phenomenal. Like I didn't even realize he was one of the Albas until, of course, he took off his glasses and revealed that. But to find out that his wife and daughter were both like what they would call coloreds, and they both eventually died in battle. And he's now serves these other poor kids that come in to be churned out for systemic genocide, basically, and tries to help keep them alive for the longest, the best he can. That guy was amazing. I love that story, and it broke my heart like a lot of other things in the show.
Well, then you have this is.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
You have this especially sickening attitude of Lena's uncle, who is like, the country can never know what we did to the 86, therefore we have to make sure that they're all exterminated. It's like, okay, so hold up. So you acknowledge that what you've done is horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want the population to learn that you did these horrible things. So the only solution is to do even more horrible things with just total genocide. Like, that seems a reasonable course of action to you.
Exactly.
Well, it's not only that.
How'd that work out?
The bigger problem that I have with it is you hate these people so much.
Oh yeah.
And all that, and you don't want to give them things, but yet they're good enough to fight your battles for you.
Exactly.
Like, I think that's even the bigger issue with this. It's not only the fact of what they did to them. It's like, oh, but we hate you and all this other stuff, and yet, we're too chicken shit to do what we need to do, and we're just going to make you. And then, her uncle, that whole big reveal, I mean, it was just like, holy crap. Like, just, I mean,
this country deserved to fall.
Oh boy, did it.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
They implied that the opening, if you watch the opening, they show pretty much what the second opening, they pretty much like, crap, what's going to happen in the second season. So.
Oh, speaking of openings, Chris, did you...
It's not second half, I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, speaking of openings, Chris, did you, when you watched the show, did you binge watch it, or did you watch it when it was airing?
I watched it just recently.
Okay, well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but since I was binge watching it at first, I didn't notice. There's a part in the opening sequence of the show which shows a field of flowers and certain members of the Spearhead Squadron standing in it. And as every episode progresses, more and more of the dead start showing up in that field. The dead soldiers that died showing up, standing and standing and waiting. And of course, the show eventually shows this in real time with Shin later on. But that the detail of that, to put that in the opening, is crazy. Like, right after an episode where characters die, the very next episode, when you watch the opening, you'll see more and more kids show up in that field. And it's like, wow, that fucked me up. That's all I can say. But I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but that was like, that's one of the things.
Did not.
And man, it's wild.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. But back to you, sir.
So yeah, I also did get Love vibes from this series, because just the overwhelming forces of the Legion, like the Beta, which are just completely inhuman, and you can't communicate with them. You can't reason with them. You can't stop them. They just come and destroy everything and leave devastation in their wake. And all you can do is destroy them or be destroyed yourself. And if you do not die, you have a fate worse than death awaiting you.
Yeah.
Definitely got some Code Geass vibes with supernatural elements and also the discrimination, but I think this show does a much better job of handling the discrimination than, say, Akito the Exiled or a MAME with the, oh, us poor oppressed Japanese fetishism that's in those two shows. So I think they smartly avoided that here. And I will say, as far as the characters go, I think Shin, on the scale of mecha sad boys, on a spectrum that includes Hiro Yui and Setsuna Aseye, I think that Shin was just a little bit too much on the sad boy for a little too long, and it's like he only stops being a sad boy after the Morpho is destroyed, which is literally the end of the first season. So it's like he's not as compelling of a character as he can be, because as he says himself in his own words, like, he didn't care about anything, he didn't plan to do anything, he didn't want to go anywhere and see anything, he had no desire or thought of living and having some kind of life outside of this war, and all of his joy was robbed from him. Understandably, when your older brother tries to choke you to death and blames you unjustly for the deaths of your parents and leaves a scar on you, that leaves scars greater than just physical ones. But I feel like he could have had a bit more humanizing earlier on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he becomes stale. Yeah,
he really definitely is stale in the second half of the season, and maybe Yahtzee, you can tell me, because I know the show had a lot of breaks during its broadcast, and it ended first season here with a very odd number of 23 episodes and 3 clip shows. How come that happened? What's up with this weird number?
Yeah,
why were there so many clip shows?
There was a lot of production problems going on when the second half was airing. They didn't mention what it was very likely COVID-19 that was happening at that time. So, and they were behind so many episodes. Their last 2 episode time slots they get, so you had to wait about 3 months. The March of the following year to get the final 2 episodes. They pretty much did the same thing what happened the first season of Code Geass. You have to wait a couple of months to see the finale.
That's crazy, man, but that makes sense given the time period.
Yeah, because it is weird, because in a lot of ways, the last episode is only the first 10 minutes only really matter. The rest
just feels kind of like filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was we have X amount of minutes to do, and it's really weird. And then you have the 3, three recap episodes. And
which
the
I
last
skipped all
2
of.
were
I did too. I skipped.
Yeah, I didn't watch them. And the last 2 were
episodes at least. So,
well, they were half. If you watch them on Crunchyroll, it's they're half. The one was 21.
They don't count as part of the broadcast episode thing. So they just have to put something in there.
Yeah,
but they didn't count as an official episode.
They're 0.5 episodes according to Crunchyroll. In between.
Yeah,
and I did feel the last episode, aside from the first few minutes, really just felt like filler when you're watching a show based on a manga, and they're just teasing out and drawing out the first in-person meeting of Lena and Spearhead Kids, and it's come on, just fucking get to it already. Why are you stretching this out until the very end of this episode? Just fucking do it. Just do it and move on.
They teased that second last episode when he's about to open this cockpit because he didn't know it was her. Because that was a very amusing part right there. So Shout out to the English in this show. It is completely full English on there.
Yes.
Right to this, you see on the board.
Yeah, no English whatsoever.
Yeah, no English at all. Like full on with full on curse words and shit. Like no censorship at all. I was quite impressed at that.
Anything else, Chris?
His unit was sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Go. What were you saying, Yazzie?
I know. I was gonna say with the English when Shin was meeting talking to each other, they didn't know who each other was because his unit was damaged and he didn't know what she looked like.
Mm-hmm.
He had to use voice recording from his thing to find out lip sync what she was saying, and he was speaking for his broadcaster.
Oh yeah, love that scene. That scene was awesome.
Anything else, Chris?
No, that's it for now.
I would like to add one thing. I watched this in English. I watched the dub, and I thought the voice acting in the English language version was impeccable. I think everybody brought it in this. There's a particular monologue by Laughing Fox when he gets kind of sick of what he believes is like virtual signaling from Lena, and it was at the end of episode 3 where he just tore into her about like, please stop fucking talking to us, all this shit. He just fucking rails on her, and the actor that performed that scene, he was really on like level 5 with his performance. I thought it was hair standing on end for me for that. I also wanted to point out, and shout out to MCT Dread for reminding me, the voice actor Billy Kametz, he did the voice of Shin all the way up to episode 21 of this show. He passed away from colon cancer. I remember when it happened. I was familiar with him because I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and he was the voice of the main character of the 4th series. They had to have Alex Lee come in to voice the last 2 episodes for Shin. He's also the voice for those who play Street Fighter 6. He's the voice of Luke in that game. But I didn't realize at all that the voice actor changed. So props to Alex for like carrying his cadence and his voice tone for those last 2 episodes where there's a lot of dialogue from Shin. And rest in peace, Billy. It's a big loss to have you gone, and I'm sorry that happened, man. And I'm grateful for his performance. He really did a good job as Shin in this show. And I'll toss it back to you guys.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, my thoughts about this. I agree with a lot of what you guys say. I think the interesting thing about this show is you get the feeling it's a lot of. So when I'm beginning to watch it, you're like, okay, like somebody mentioned, it feels like Code Geass. It feels like this. Mm-hmm. There's all these concepts that you feel from other shows, which is okay. And sometimes when people borrow stuff, it's maybe not done. They do it in their own way. It feels like it's its own story. I mean, it's got a lot of things going on here. It has the segregation of people, the supernatural stuff of Code Geass. It has the whole unmanned warfare type of thing. I mean, I thought at the first couple episodes when they're talking about this till you get the great reveal that the Juggernauts are actually, controlled by people. It's like, wait a second, this is drone warfare. I'm thinking, you're seeing all the drunk Republic guys just sitting there. I guess the drone operators. And I'm thinking, oh, this is like Gundam Wing and stuff like this. All these other ones where it's like, the whole thing about like faceless warfare and, it doesn't matter to you unless you have skin in the game. And I think that's what made it interesting. It's like it borrowed concepts from so many different things, but it made it its own thing. And it didn't feel like it was borrowing it. You're like, oh yeah, that's from this. Or, that happened in this show, but it made its own thing. I agree. I think the first 13 episodes are way strong. Way strong. I mean, the visceral kind of feeling, and, the fact that you just get these great reveals. I mean, I think all of us were shocked. I mean, you kind of felt it was coming, but when it's like, wait, because there was this idea, the Republic was like, oh, the Legion, after this point, everything's going to run out of batteries. and it's not going to work anymore. And then you find out from Shin this, like, no, they've adapted. Like, they've adapted. They're integrating, human brains and stuff. And I mean,
assimilation.
It really raised the stakes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it raised the stakes, and it just showed all that stuff. It's like, oh, unless you're really into it, unless you're really experiencing this, you're just sitting by afar, and it's like the Republic's like, oh yeah, we only have like 6 more months, and they won't be able to run anymore. It's like, yeah, surprise. That's not the case.
Nope.
And I mean, and even with like the first episode, when you see Shin kill the guy that gets hurt,
yeah,
what the fuck did he do that for? And I think it's what maybe 3 or 4 episodes later when you really find out, it's like, oh, this is the reason why they're doing this.
Absolutely.
And like I said, these are concepts that have been in other shows and movies, but they made it their own. I thought that was good. Yeah. The unrelenting enemy that you can't negotiate with, you can't reason with, you can't do anything with. That's always scary. It's always scary. But yeah, the second part, I didn't like it as much as the first. I'm with Chris. I think Shin's okay, but the fact that he just gets he's just kind of there after a certain point. There's no real development on him. I think it kind of hurts things. But in the end, it's a lot of social commentary. I mean, you see similarities to how the Republic is and maybe the world we live in. We always say we truly feel for people that are in the military, but do we? Unless it's really part of us. We're going to a way of everything is autonomous. We don't want to see people die, but we want to be able to, fuck people up. So, what are we going to do? Are we going to end up being like the Empire and with the Legion taking over? So there's lots of different things in there, and I think that it's one of the few shows where you can borrow things from other medias, and you sit there and go, yeah, that's kind of from this, but then it makes it their own. And I thought that was probably the genius point of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we go into our lowlights there. I know that some of us mentioned this, but Chris, you want to kind of hit some of your lowlights? I know you hit a couple of things about Shin and stuff. Is there anything else you want to hit there, or?
No, just again, that the last episode really felt like they were just kind of drawing things out, and I assumed that it was just the way that they were ending the story at the spot that they were, that they didn't want to just immediately jump into the next arc, and they just needed to stretch out the end of where they were. That's what it seemed like to me, and maybe Yahtzee can elaborate on if I'm correct about that. But otherwise, mostly a compelling show with some flaws.
Yeah. So you're saying that last episode is like Namek?
A little bit, yeah. It feels like a filler episode mostly.
Yeah,
anticlimactic.
I felt it's like, why don't you just take the first 5 or 10 minutes that you did in the last episode and just added it to the episode? It might have made more sense, but I don't know. I don't know what network constraints they had or whatever it was, but Soulbro, your lowlights.
My lowlights, in the second half, there's a lot of dialogue that repeats a lot of plot points that have come up, especially the problems with Shin. They kind of touch upon it a bit too much. I would have liked to have seen more insight with the other 4 characters of the Spearhead Squadron or the original Spearhead Squadron, when they're, of course, as part of the Confederacy. We got little moments where you got to see them when they went their kind of like on their own pilgrimage when they were living a civilian life, and I thought that was super cool. But after that, the story primarily follows Shin and Frederica and what's going on with them. I'm not going to tell people how to write their story, but if I had my choice in the matter, and I'm not going to hold this against the show, but I would have loved to have seen more of Lena's started a part of the storyline in the second half, especially working with Cyclops and her team and seeing how basically what they were up against and how she was developing, because she definitely levels up by the time she gets Cyclops and that team and working with them, and she's more take charge. She's not as she's not trying to be pen pals with them. She's trying to be a leader to make sure that these cats survive, and she's doing what it takes on both sides of the fence to get that done. And she was super fascinating, and I was sad to see that she only got maybe a few moments in the beginning, and then the last the last two episodes, we get to see her, and then she's reunited with the group, and it just left me wanting to see more of her interaction with the other 8 Sixers, and to see exactly where that goes. So outside of that, yeah, the browbeating of Shin just started to get on my nerves a little bit. He is the way he is. You guys know this. Shouting him is not going to make him change. So other than that, I don't have
times in the show.
Yeah, the tone changed a little bit in the second half. I do prefer the more intense tone of the first half, but I didn't find it terrible. It's a slight down, but not like a major down. The show was still compelling the whole way through, and it's sometimes you start out stronger than you end. So it is what it is.
We'll add the little downside for me I forgot to mention in terms of the tone change. You reminded me of that. Frederica is a little bit too much of a literal mascot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit too much of a tonal mismatch with like all of these people from San Magnolia. So like, yeah, there's a more serious part about her and Kiri and his rage and all of that stuff. So that's like, good stuff. And, the way that she, comes through and threatens to kill herself so that Kiri drops his guard and lets Shin get in to make the kill. But like the other stuff where she's just like a little too silly for these like very serious people, like it's just a bit of a mismatch. And I would like to address, there's a comment in the chat. Let's see here. Enron saying nitpick of how on the nose the racism stuff was.
Oh boy.
And how everyone's cartoonishly evil. It's like, well, but here's the thing. We say cartoonishly evil, but real life has proved that actual racists are this cartoonishly on the nose. So it's like stuff it's like we reject this stuff as like sounding too unbelievable. And then you actually have people out in the real world going out and saying these sorts of things. So no, it's really not. It's not that it's cartoony. It's that our perspectives are flipped.
Yeah, you don't want to believe that something like that's possible, but I've been directly in line of that. So watching that, it was like, man, I was reminded of some shit from my past when watching that, and to me, it's like they captured it perfectly. They captured kind of like what the vibe would have been, in pre or World War II Nazi Germany, and just how that whole mindset was, with the Übermensch and all that shit, and how people were treated and all that shit. And it pulls from all other sorts of time periods too. And it's yeah, man, hearing the word colors being used and then hearing white pig getting tossed around, it's like, man, they're not holding back. They're not holding back at all.
Well, but I don't think you even have to go into that far in the past. You can look.
That's true. Really don't.
We'll break the seal.
Yeah, you can go Alabama in the 1960s, or today.
You can do America now. The invasion.
True.
The invasion. All these people. The the transgender people that are out there lurking behind the shadows to, steal your children and eat their souls and stuff like that. I mean, just go to Twitter. Just go to any of these things. Yes. This idea that it's like cartoonish,
well, look
but this
at the
is
owner
what
of
these
Twitter.
Yeah, look at that.
Right. This is what these people believe. Mm-hmm. Because when you're demented like this, mm-hmm. you live in a demented world. When you have to blame the failings of your of your life and your insecurities on other people, because usually that's what it is. This is what it is. I mean, it's just that. So no, I mean that portion I think is very on point. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is the world we live in. And I'm speaking as a white man in America, and I see it, so I can't even understand. I can't even understand how people that are like Solbro and others that are of different groups, what they have to see, and it is this cartoonish. I mean, as stupid as it is, it's exactly this way because these are not serious people. These are people that have huge problems.
Yeah.
Huge problems. And I think that portion of this show was conveyed entirely. That hit home in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because
like when you have people who literally in our world believe that the world is run by Jewish space lizards and that Jewish people are actually alien lizards. Wow. And this is just like part of like just the grand anti-Semitism that's part of every conspiracy theory. It's like if somebody believes that a person is actually a lizard from space, like how do you contend with this reality? Like nothing makes sense if you have to inhabit space in a world with somebody who believes that. So if people in our world can literally believe that to be a true thing and that sounds reasonable when they say it out of their mouths, then everything in 86 in terms of the racism to me is eminently reasonable.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not only that, it's not the, just the lizard thing, but, other things like that Pizzagate thing where people believe that there's like this cabal of rich people drinking the blood of young children under a pizza shop in like fucking Virginia, like Arlington, Virginia, wherever the hell it was outside of DC. I mean, as stupid, I'm saying that it sounds stupid.
Sounds insane.
We all
somebody
agree.
Somebody showed up with a gun and shot the place up to try to rescue the kids. So sounds so cartoonishly ridiculous, and yet it happened.
Right. And I'll give other people, and I'll give everybody that specifically lives in the United States, because that's where we live. You need to think about yourself on how you want to vote for things later on this year. Because depending on who you are, you might be an 86.
Whew.
Because if you choose not to exercise your vote, or you want to just say fuck you because of one certain thing and not look at the bigger picture, don't be pissed off if you're stuck in 86 and you're stuck in a juggernaut. So, maybe people can really understand that, because this is what we are. I mean, this is what humans are.
It's a cautionary tale. That's what it is.
No, it is a cautionary tale. I mean, there's so many. What is it? They always talk about movies and sometimes TV shows are cautionary tale. Yeah, they're for our entertainment, but some of them are cautionary tales. I mean, one that we, the three of us, I don't know about Yazi, but I mean, the three of us like Star Trek. How much of things that showed up in Star Trek even 50 years ago are now part of our world, So it can be used for good and it can be used for evil. So remember that, folks. And I mean, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
no, yo, so Enron wrote in the chat. Just to clarify, I don't support any of that shit. No, Enron, we're not saying that, man. You're perfectly fine.
saying that.
I can see.
Just addressing
that's
the point,
not. Yeah, that wasn't the
anything about
point at
you as a
all.
person.
Yeah, I can see how it could feel that way because it does come off very exuberant. Like, especially in the English dub, it's like, yo, I was kind of flinching anytime they said like a racial epithet. I was like, damn, they're going in extra hard on this shit. But at the same time, it's like I've been in places where that's happened, and that's not everybody's experience. So I can understand how you could feel that way, man. There's no harm done, and we're definitely not tearing into you, man. Not at all. I'm glad you brought it up.
But the thing is,
addressing the point, and you say in the chat here, racist assholes I see around me are a lot more subtle than that.
Yeah,
there's a lot that aren't. There were headlines the week before recording this. There was the Conservative Political Action Conference, big yearly conservative event. There were white supremacists at this event openly doing Heil Hitlers.
Oh wow! Yeah. God damn!
Right.
So there's some racists that are smart and they're subtle and they use dog whistles, and then there's others that are just out there, just blatantly doing all the Nazi stuff. So they come in all shapes and forms.
And the other part of it is we can't just always sit there and laugh it off and just be like, yo, that's crazy. People don't believe that, because guess what? There are a lot of people do. I mean, this time travel back to 2016. And, oh, yeah, this is so funny. Yeah, this guy will never blah, blah, blah. And then what do we have? 4 years of shit.
Hey, man.
And 4 years of oppression and 4 years of racism and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you can laugh it off because you think these people are buffoons and acting the fool. But like Chris said, sometimes it's overt and sometimes it's covert and sometimes it's hidden in being shameless and being a fool. That's the problem.
Hey, man.
And that's really we gotta look at it.
Look, man, all I know is that there's a whole army of cats making custom characters in Tekken 8 that look like Adolf Hitler. But don't worry, man. Don't worry. The Drake/Lisco army gonna beat them back.
Well, I saw you guys live. I don't know what city it was in Florida, but I know a couple weeks ago there was a video of there was a bunch of Heil Hitlers off an overpass on a freeway. So I don't know where that was, but I mean it's out there, and
we got the Nazis standing outside of Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I heard about that.
Unfortunately, multiple times, not just once.
So
it's crazy times.
Yeah, it. Once again, it's an idea of having kind of social commentary, and you gotta,
That's the best kind of science fiction. That's the best kind. I like it when
the shit that becomes real,
the social ills, when they bring up the social ills in things to reflect it back at people who may have been doing it and have not to phrase it like this, but a come to Jesus moment where they see themselves reflected in assholes on screen. That's sometimes the best kind of storytelling to kind of show people the error of their ways. And I like the fact that the show included that, incorporated it well, and eventually things give way to them being getting their just desserts. So you'd love to see it when that happens. So
Yazi, what were some of the, so we can finish up before we do our ratings, what were some of the things you didn't like, or some of the low lights that you had of 86?
Detractors.
Yeah, the second half, it does definitely slow down, especially when they're doing the big mission at the end, when they're having a little slow down talk.
Takes forever.
I'm like, you guys having a camp out night, especially like this horrible battle? I mean, that's to speed things up a little bit, but I don't mind.
How is that? How is that in line with the manga? Like, what is that? I mean,
novel
or novel? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same novels. They kind of go back and forth with some of the events. The anime just kind of actually fixes it like a fixed point where it would sequence occur in the correct order. But the novel, it kind of jumps back and forth in time a couple times, so it's a little bit more confusing.
Okay.
But probably sped up a little bit better. But because I guess the pacing of the anime, because the anime is just like the first 3 volumes of the novel. 2 and 3, that's pretty much what the second half of the show was. So I guess they kind of sped things up a little too much. The stuff we saw with Lena, that's actually they did more than the anime, like when they're showing the attack on when the Magnolia Republic was when their board's taken down. That's something new what they had on there, showing when they actually took charge of the battle rather than just like a brief snippet.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
did they reflect more with her? Did it reflect more of her story in the novels? Her side of the story, separate from the rest of the guys.
The first half of the anime you saw that it went back and forth between Shin and Lena, so that part was the exact same. It's just in the second half of the show, it was like that in the novel too. It mostly focused on Shin's side more than anything else. So,
gotcha.
So that part kept the same, but the pacing in the second half was definitely some parts were a little too slow. I mean, I did not mind the little comedic parts where they're like tossing Frederica in the air because she was half asleep or something. It was kind of amusing moments, or the part where Frederica snuck into like a speed racer into Fido, like a cat, and you see Fido like emoting, like he's sweating even though it's a robot.
Yo, Spritle.
Very amusing. Yep. But yeah, some of the parts were. The Federation part is definitely slower, and I would like the pacing to be a little bit faster. And then the back and forth to the Federation characters also kind of a bit more long-winded than it should have been. So, I didn't mind the epilogue, but we should focus a bit more on the Lena side for getting on there. I mean, the final camera moments, I'm fine with those because it actually gives a good perspective, especially with the visuals.
Yeah,
so.
It's really good.
Well, the sad thing about the epilogue is, in the end, even though things are supposedly going to the better, the Albas are still pretty much racist against all the other Albas, or the non-Albas. Like, so it's
not exactly what it's just the Albas like Magnolia. Remember, there are Albas in the Confederacy. They don't support any of that shit. It's just
I know. I know, but
like Eugene. Like Eugene. Eugene was like one of the coolest characters.
But in the Republic, it's still kind of like
that's their own mindset.
Yeah.
It's desserts too, because
So okay.
Yeah, because I think they mentioned that most of the. It's kind of like karma, I guess, because if I remember correctly, most of Magnolia was wiped out pretty much after that in that battle because most of them could not fight for themselves. They had to like get all the 86 together pretty much to fight them all. But you see them pretty much get it just deserve with the first like, oh, someone came to save us. Like, no, fuck you guys. So at least we know what you did.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of which, the one bureaucrat, our military official, at the very end of the show, you notice on his desk he had pictures. Dude, that shit had me dying. It was like he completely flipped because he knows where the balance of power is now, right? So he's definitely being performative. It's like, oh, we embrace all colors.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a chameleon.
That shit had me hot, son.
He's a politician. I mean, he's what it. Yeah, I mean, he'll probably end up being the president of the Republic.
You're not wrong.
You go further in the novels.
Did you see that part on there? Did you see the picture with his family on there?
Yes.
The last scene with the Federation team in.
I did see that. It's probably some fake ass family.
No, that was his actual family because he showed up at the beginning. He showed his regular son and wife on there. They had the same hair as him.
Yeah.
And when the Federation came, he photoshopped their hair color.
Oh no!
His wife had blue. His son had blue hair. His wife had red hair.
Oh.
And he photoshopped trying to make himself look more sympathetic.
Yo.
Colors, even though none of the shit made sense. That cracked me up.
What a piece of shit.
He's the survivor.
Also contended for Soul Bros Man on there.
Please. Oh, that guy's one of Soul Bros Man? Wow.
Yes.
What are the other ones?
You said you had two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other one was those 3 drunk losers.
Yes. Fuck those guys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The one you see them living like bums at the end. It's like, hey, why can't you colors be more tolerant of us?
Yeah.
They told the racists that it's like we're racist, but you should tolerate us more. Their face.
How did they survive?
That's what racists do. I mean, you've been on Twitter, right? Like We hate all these people, but they're so against us. Like, why can't you be more tolerant of us being assholes?
The look of those Federate horses they go give like soup kitchens, like it's like those dead fish eye looks to them.
Yes.
That had me cracking.
Oh, I couldn't be happy to see them miserable, man. Fuck them.
All right. Anything else before we go into our ratings?
Yeah, what do you guys think of the mecha designs? Because that was kind of odd with the whole spider tank designs and all. So,
I've always been a fan of the spider tank, man. Ever since Ghost in the Shell. So to see that impressed upon in this and kind of like them doing their own thing here was fantastic. I was gonna ask y'all, who's harder on their mechs, Kiriko or Shin? That's what that's what I want. Or Hiro Yui. Who's the hardest on their suits?
Hero doesn't. He doesn't respect his stuff at all, and is always blowing it up.
Always.
Yeah.
Like,
neither does Kiriko.
Yeah. Kiriko is
goes to as many uses as Chiriko. Shin's unit is nothing special in here. The only thing it has blades on it. It's like fuck machine guns. I'm gonna slice and dice you up. I'll shank you.
Yo, Shin might be a lightweight compared to them.
Oh, I think he is. Yeah. He has some care to his mech, you know.
I don't know, man. Remember that training exercise with Eugene? It's like, what do you do? Let's flip this giant tank.
Exactly. Just
the
to hear
look
about it
on his instructor's face in slow motion when that shit was happening. I'm sorry, that part was.
It was hilarious.
See that part actually animated that I did not expect. Cause they just mentioned a sideburn, but the fact they actually animated it was hilarious. But yeah, I also like the upgrade units a lot better. I mean, Juggernaut was all right. Look a little too. You could blink it, it'll fall apart. But the upgrades look a lot cooler, especially with their different weapon packs on there. And
well, it's
swinging around like the Spider-Man, even though they're Spider units. So
second part of the first season, so you're always gonna have the upgrades.
Exactly.
And you can never say no to no pile bunkers or anything. I say yes to more pile bunkers in Mecha, please.
Outstanding.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm all set.
All right, I guess we'll go into some ratings here. Chris, you want to give us a rating of 86?
I'm going to give this 4 homeless princesses out of 5.
Sobro.
Me, I'm going to give it 4.5 ungrateful Christmas presents from the El Presidente out of 5. I love that guy. He was one of the coolest characters in the show. I don't know if he could be fully trusted, but he was definitely one of the highlights of the series for me.
I'll give it 4 caricatures of your boss out of 5. You know, because it was interesting at the beginning. All the sketches they had of what the 86s thought their handlers were.
Yeah, that shit was amazing.
What they call her, Princess Piggy or something like that. She was like the 7th handler, and it was like Princess Piggy or something. So
call it Miss Piggy.
But, they did that at the end.
Miss Piggy.
They did that at the end too. They did that at the end too, when they had Sheena like hugging Shin and the thing, and then you see Fido's reaction. The last one, Fido's like beeping like R2D2.
So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I thought Fido also one of the coolest AI bots out there. I know it might be a little bit. Fido's a few good ones.
Well, I will say that, you know, it was you do have a little bit of emotion when you see when he's dying or when he's like slowly shutting down, and he kind of goes through his life with Shin and all the things that had happened to him. But yeah, I mean, he's still one step from ripping your face off. So, you know, no networks. That's my motto. You know,
no networks.
Hey, I will always, parrot the Admiral. You know, I have computers. I use them. They're just not all networked together.
There you go.
So, plus I have a dog, and she doesn't like robots.
There you go.
So, yeah,
raising them right.
But exactly. So Yazi, we'll leave you for last. What's your ratings at 86 there? Probably thought I forgot you.
No. I didn't. Interrupted you earlier, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 4.5 Fido dances out of 5.
There you go, man.
There you go.
Shout outs to Dalo. He writes, "Screw Fido. I hated that damn robot." Yo, Dalo, why the hostility, man?
Why you hating?
Why you hate on best boy, man? That's the best. He's the best guy, man. That's your best friend. He's gonna be there for you no matter what. Like my buddy, all right. Wherever he goes,
they had a cat with 20.
Fido goes.
They had a cat with 20 different names, but
that's
right. But the real pet was Fido.
The real pet was Fido, man. He was the real one.
Yeah.
Man, good shit.
All right. Guys, anything before we go into our closing here? Soul Bro tells us where they can find us.
Oh yeah.
No, Chris, anything? No.
All right. Well,
Yazzie, you got anything, Yazzie? No.
Please, someone releases on physical media so I can own it, because it has not come out on Blu-ray yet in the US, and I'm still upset.
Wow, that's crazy.
You'll never get that. So just accept
I know it won't. It's Aniplex. They can't do anything right. So.
Raise your pirate flag and sail into the horizon, because that's the only world. That's the only world you're gonna live in from this point on.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Good old Aniplex, always Aniplex then.
Exactly. I mean,
spread those cheeks.
I'm still mad about Garden of Sinners after like 20 bajillion years, them selling it so fucking expensive.
Yeah, man, it's freaking that's super expensive, man. Yo, MCT Dread writes 5 out of 5 from me. I love this series, and the light novels are great. Enron writes 4.75 out of 5 from me. Part 2 keeps it from being a 5 out of 5. Hey, man.
Who do that type of rating?
He's busting out the quarter, man. He's busting out the quarter, sir.
Come on. Fractions. Yes. Fractions out there. You talk about fractions.
He adds, even though it's Sawano. Damn.
Have to compose of Sawano, because you know there's that one track that sounds like it's from Gundam Unicorn.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, true.
He always does that on everything he does, though. There's always something. He's a bit like a James Horner of anime.
Yes, thank you. That's a great comparison. It's a great juxtaposition. And I was killing me watching this, seeing the character design in the show. I found it insanely familiar. And this character designer, by the way, is named Tetsuya Kawakami. He worked on, of course, 8-6. He worked on Beyblade, Gal Gaigar Final, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, man, the art style in this show is very reminiscent of other animes I watched in the past, and was trying to figure out where I've seen his art before. So that's what's up. Check out his Anime News Network bio. You'll see all the shows he's worked on. Wolf's Rain. Wolf definitely. His art style is in Wolf's Rain. So anyway, back to you guys.
Oh wow, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
now. I didn't know he did, because it's like
now
holy
I totally
crap.
see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
like
I really
Shin
see
totally
that.
looks like Kiba.
Yes, thank you, sir. That does.
God, he is Kiba.
I did not realize that. That's a very good point. Huh?
That's freaking great. Sword Art Online. He was the chief animation director on Sword Art Online as well. But
I think Wolf's Rain really seals it for me. Yeah, it really kind of comes off full circle at this point.
Oh, he did the animation, but he wasn't a character designer for Wolf's Rain. So.
Oh, see, he did. Yeah, but some of the designs in that show are very similar. Well,
it looks
kinda,
very
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Shin's So, Chris is right though. Shin is
Kiba.
He does remind me of Kiba.
Yeah,
he really does. So
that's fine.
But okay. So, bro, where can they find us?
I'm gonna keep it short, man. Just go to mahq.net. That's where you find the links to all our other places, whether it be YouTube or the audio podcasts or whatnot. Plus, check out all the great articles that are up here. They got a spotlight going on in Macross Delta right now, and a spotlight on Gundam Seed Freedom. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh man!
And then Yazzie spotlight. Yazzie, did you do the spotlight on Super Robot Wars 30? I knew you could.
I helped him with it. Yeah.
He helped put together the section. So.
Nice. So yeah, Yazzie contributes on mahq.net as well. So you guys make sure to go over there and check out the work, man. It's fantastic. Outside of that, I'm gonna throw it back to you guys, man.
So, Chris, you must be just excited to finally get Gundam Seed Freedom, right?
Oh, boy.
I'm just curious. Like, I've read spoilers, but like to see it for myself, to see like the train wreck and the time warp back to 2004.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've actually read some stuff, the spoilers on it. I'm somewhat interested. I'm somewhat curious.
I've seen some clips that like people filmed on their phones in Japan, and there are some scenes near the end that are just utterly deranged, and it's like,
oh damn,
what the fuck? What the fuck am I watching?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen those things.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But it is gonna Seed all the way, for better and mostly for worse.
Yeah, I haven't seen any clips, but I've read some spoilers, and I was just like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, it gets the curiosity up, and I'm gonna be happy like this until I have to sit there and watch it. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck? Why are we doing this? Like, can we just put this off another episode?"
There's this guy.
Come take me now.
There's this guy at my anime club who's like very annoying about Gundam Seed, like just standing for it to a ridiculous degree. We would just have like fights about it all the time back in the day. And I hadn't seen that guy for like maybe 15 years or so.
Oh wow.
And then randomly I saw him at the theater when they did the screening for Macross Plus.
No way.
Because he just happened to be sitting next to me. And it's like, my luck, I'm just gonna fucking run into this guy at Seed Freedom, and he'll be like, "Yo, what I tell you about Seed 20 years ago?" It's like, bro, go fuck off. Go fall back into the hole that you came out of after 15 years.
Actually, Solbro, I think it would be funny. I don't know how easily you can do this, because I know you have to release the other episodes of audio episodes of Gundam.
Yeah.
But it would be funny if you could ever find like when we made fun of like all the times they talked about the Seed movie, like 10 something years ago. It's like
I need to
just do like a quick like montage of like all the times that we sat there and just made fun of it. Like
it would make a great montage. But I'd have that audio scrubber for that shit.
That would be a good opening for that episode when we have to review.
So
because
you want to do a Gundam episode? You want to do flashbacks to Gundam?
No, it would be a good opener. We don't even have to do the news or anything. It'd just be like us. You just do the cold opening of the show, and it's just us talking. Hey, there's Seed. The Seed movie's gonna be coming, and then all the times are like, yeah, it's never gonna come. Chris is like, yeah, fuck this, it's never gonna come. Well, and then they just go into our review. I mean, it would be the perfect thing.
Incredible.
Oh my god, even a year ago when they said it was going, I was like, I'll believe that when I see it, and then I'm like, oh shit, it's actually in the movies. It's actually at the cinema. I'm like, I still can't believe it's here, because it's just been this running joke. I mean,
somebody spoke it into existence. I don't know what else to say. It's wild.
It's nuts. And the real bad thing is if one of us ends up liking it, that'll be the real funny thing.
It could happen. You never know.
The spoilers I read are accurate. I don't think there's any their fear of that.
I read it?
Shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it's just dumb.
Sobro will probably surprise us though and be like, well, actually,
I'm going in naked. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I haven't read shit. I haven't heard shit. I've watched one trailer. That's it.
I understand why Ass Ram did this.
I understand why Kira did the stupid thing.
Yes,
exactly. It all makes sense.
Kyle is crying.
I kind of bought into. I bought a metal robot spirits figure for the movie unit, so I don't think it impacts me liking the movie. I bought if it's like buying a.
We know you just love Destiny Gundam. It's fine.
You excited, bro?
That's fine.
No one can blame me.
Not Jab, man. I like the units, not the show.
Hey, look, we're the same way. I mean, hey, we liked the first show, and then you know, it is on recorded record of us sitting there going, the first, 13 episodes of See Destiny, we're all feeling it. I think we all were like unanimous. We're like,
up in there.
Yeah, the first three episodes were like, it's better than the first show. And then it just became just a giant, what the fuck? So, yeah, and I love the strike, dude. I mean, I'm with you. You love Destiny. I love the strike. It just doesn't. It doesn't mean I have to sanction what it was in.
Oh my god!
And I like the freedom. And I like the freedom.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like the freedom. But I mean, so, oh my gosh, yeah, that's coming up. That's the teaser later on this year in Gundam at MAHQ. Us eating crow.
You'll flashback to our conversation for this.
Yo, shout outs to real quick. Shout outs to MCG Dread. He brings up Kigali's father burning. What's the over under on if we get a flashback at that again in this movie? What's it gonna be like 75%?
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will see that flashback, and it'll be reanimated in HD because they have to.
Damn it! Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Well, I got a bit of brace myself.
And we'll see fresh beam spam for Strike Freedom reanimated in HD because they have to.
Just give me one disco gun. Just give me one.
Well, actually, the bet I would want to do is the over under of how many sighs that Chris is going to be doing while he's talking about this.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Cy Argyle.
No, I'm talking about him doing what we're talking about it. He's just going to be sometimes, if you've ever listened sometimes with Chris when he's just I don't know. I think it's a tick or something, Chris. Sometimes you're just
horrible.
It's okay. I'm not making fun of you. It's just and that's what I'm knowing. Oh, that's well, it's doing the show for so long. It's oh shit, he just sighed. I'm waiting to hear. He's gonna rip it.
Or just imagine the size of when I'm writing the review.
Oh,
yes.
God. Yeah. If your walls could talk, right?
After every period.
Oh,
I mean, it's only 2 hours. It's not as bad as doing something sitting down and reviewing Build Divers.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, thank you, Yazzie, for joining us.
Oh, Yazzie, where can they find you?
Yeah, where can you find you?
You can find my crappy puns on X and hopefully.
What is X? What are you talking about?
He's on Blue Sky as well.
No.
You're the Yazinator.bluesky. What org or something? I forget what the. Let's see, just the Yazinator, all one word. I know that much. There you go.
.gov.
Indeed, but thank you for being on, man. It was a pleasure having you on. It's a long time coming, man. I'm glad we got this done.
Yeah, it'll be a long time before the next one too. So.
Oh, damn it!
This is one of my bucket lists, so I'm very happy to be here. So thank you guys.
Hey, that's what's up.
We're a bucket list. Oh my gosh!
Now you're banned from the show.
Oh, there you go. He's done did it.
Now you're banned from the show. So enjoy your bucket list.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the wrong thing.
Never happen again.
That was the wrong thing to say. He's gonna ban you on that.
Hey, yeah. Imran writes 21.99 win for but start not. I always want to say Yamato. 21.99. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, I want to watch it. So if we do that, we'll have Yazzie back on.
21.99.
Yeah, we'll have Yazzie back on definitely for that because I know he's very, very enthusiastic about that series. But
all right.
All right.
Well, yeah. So thank you, Yazzie, and thank you, Chris and Solbro, and thank you everybody for joining us on the live stream. We'll be back in a few weeks with episode 289. Oh, 11 away from 300. Uh-oh. What do we got to do for 300, man? 300. What are we gonna do?
Zoids.
Someone out of it.
Really? No. Are you teasing that, Chris?
Absolutely not. No.
Robo-Jocks.
So let me get this straight. You're saying for episode 300, we're gonna talk about Zoids, and you're gonna announce the Zoid section being added to MAHQ. Yeah, right. No, yes.
Followed by Transformers Kiss.
Yes. The hits keep on coming.
Honestly, over the years, Zoids has been the most requested thing aside from Evangelion.
Yeah. I remember we talked about that in the early days of the show. It was like, man. But yeah, Zoids, I didn't realize it had such a big audience, but it's been around for a long time.
Which one has more? Which more do you get, Zoids or Evangelion?
That's a good question.
Now I don't get as much anymore. So.
But at the time,
they were warmer. At the time, there was a time where I think they were neck to neck, especially when Zoid Zero was airing on Cartoon Network and that was popular. So, it might have edged out Evangelion at a certain point.
Yeah, people like Zoids, man.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Wish I had someone to come and take me home like you.
これが私専用の赤い照り焼きだ。ガーリックとベーコンの衝撃に赤いガーリック照り焼き。辛さは最大限に生かす。それが私の主義だ。スパイシーチーズとハラペーニョ、シャア専用体縁。この感覚、アムノ、いやトリチ。トリプルチーズがニュータイプ、白いトリチ。これでこそ私のマックだ。シャア専用マクドナルドへようこそ。
I find you guilty of harassment, and might I add, if you're hungry, go to a restaurant for criminy's sake, or a grocery store, but leave that poor bird alone.